So today I'm going to be ranking all 21 episodes of the first season of Wizards of Waverly Place. Now I already made videos ranking the other 3 seasons, and I feel like it's finally time to do season 1 and get this series over with. So without further ado, let's rank all 21 episodes of season 1 of Wizards of Waverly Place.
Be careful not to mess with the balance of things, because everything is not what it seems.
You did this. I'm just the guy with the big gross talking Z on my forehead.
Hello? I'm right here.
Alex, get this thing off of me. Come on.
In this episode, Justin gets a talking pimple. Simply put, this episode was disgusting. Also, the stuff Justin's pimple said was highly problematic.
Hi, Kari.
Oh, hey, Justin.
Mind if I join you?
Please do.
So I was wondering, since you like baseball players and everything, if maybe you'd not want to not go to a movie or something.
In this episode, Justin joins a baseball team in order to impress a girl that he likes. Now, I like how this episode focused mostly on Justin because I feel like most of the episodes are like, they're either all about Alex or they're like 50-50 between Justin and Alex, especially during season 1. But this episode was like all about Justin. But the reason this episode is so low on my list is because this episode was basically about sports, and yeah, that's just not my thing.
Saw the sleepovers and snickerdoodles. That was a lie.
Yeah, we were just trying to string you along and get you to come to this loser tea.
And you didn't come for the tea. You came to protect me.
In this episode, Gigi, the mean girl, invites Alex and Harper to a tea party, which Alex finds out was meant to embarrass Harper. Now, I liked how Alex was being a true friend towards Harper, but I just never liked the whole mean girl thing Disney always had going on, and I always felt like this show was way better than that. And I'm glad that they didn't have the whole mean girl trope carry on throughout the entire series.
Mom, Dad, think about it. If Harper works here, you guys could spend more time with each other.
Yeah, Jerry, we could even go to one of those dollar movies you're always talking about.
It's a movie for $1. How could you not talk about that?
In this episode, Harper starts working at the Waverly substation. Now, I thought this episode was alright, but I'm pretty sure I watched this episode less than any other episode of the entire show. I just don't really vibe with it like that.
Do you realize what you just did?
Oh my gosh, I drank both halves of the love potion.
So now what? If he didn't drink it, who falls in love with you?
Oh, hello, gorgeous. Who is that?
In this episode, Justin is competing against another student for a spot in the World Summit. All I can say about this episode is that the side plots with Alex having a giant head and Max having trouble controlling his magic were more interesting than the main plot.
Hey, so, how's it going? Mom, I see you have the guitar out.
In this episode, Alex is upset because her father won't teach her how to fly on a magic carpet. Now, this episode was actually the first episode that they ever filmed of the entire show, and unfortunately it does show. But I did think it was sweet how this episode had that whole father-daughter bonding moment. That was cute.
Hello, handsome.
Hello. Hello to you. Hello.
Hello.
I could say hello.
Why can I say hello? In this episode, the Russo kids have a blast while their parents are out of town. Now, this episode was kinda all over the place. I did like the street fair and the parts where the mannequin and the doll came to life. But overall, this episode felt out of place in my opinion. Because like the parents weren't there, it was just the kids. And I think this is the only episode of the entire show where it's only the kids. And Justin is in charge and Max and Alex don't respect him at all.
It was your dad who won the contest.
What?
But wizards can't marry non-wizards. So your dad gave Kelbo his powers. So that he can marry me.
In this episode, Alex is frustrated with her father as a teacher, so she starts going to her uncle for wizard lessons. So this episode severely suffered from bad graphics. Also, Jeff Garlin, who plays Uncle Kelbo, was really having a hard time getting used to his character, because in later seasons we see how he made the character come to life and more vibrant and dynamic, but in season 1 his character is kind of dull. And I thought the whole sea monkey thing was weird, but I like how this episode introduced us to the story where Jerry gave away his magic to his brother so that Jerry could be with Teresa, who was immortal. So he gave away his powers for love. In this episode, Justin is trying to have his first kiss. Now, I thought the montage of Justin practicing his kissing was hilarious. Also, I thought it was funny how Justin kept messing up his kiss with the girl that he liked. Then Alex had to keep rewinding time for a total of 18 times until Justin got it right. And overall, this episode was just making fun of Justin, and I was here for it.
So dragon is really a dragon? Amazing.
Actually, there are a lot of secret dragons.
No, that in a family of wizards, I didn't see that coming. Stupid, stupid, stupid.
In this episode, Alex gets Justin a dragon dog from the wizard world. Now, I thought the concept of a dragon living inside of a dog's body was interesting, and it was sweet of Alex to try to do something nice for Justin, even though it kinda backfired. Also, why do we never see the dog after this episode? What happened to it? I mean, Max asks the same question, and we're all wondering, what happened to that dragon dog?
You're trying to distract me. Are you kidding yourself? You've got problems. Ooh, good burn. I know, I thought it and then I said it.
In this episode, Alex wants to blow off her wizard studies to go to a big sale. Now, I know this episode is the introduction into the show, but it has the same problem that I have with season 1 of this show. It was just Alex being a superficial teenager, and normally I would be okay with it. But knowing that Alex uses her powers for better reasons in the later seasons kind of makes me more upset with season 1, but this episode is still iconic. The show just started on a random episode. There was no, like, introduction, because normally, like, in a lot of shows, like, something happens to the character in the first episode that changes their life forever. But Wizards, and also That's So Raven, they kind of just started on a random episode. But at least Wizards had a finale. That's So Raven, it just started on a random episode and then ended on a random episode. That's So Raven just kind of happened. But anyways, yeah.
Where is TJ?
He's busy riding up the side of the Empire State Building on a skateboard.
Oh, I made it! I made it all the way to the...
In this episode, Alex meets another wizard kid at school. Now, I thought this episode did a good job of showing the mess that happens when the kids are left without any rules or supervision. Also, it was kind of nice to see Alex have another friend other than Harper, even though it didn't last too long.
Frames and figures, step out of your picture. Okay. Gather around, people. Gather around. I'm here. Why are you doing that?
In this episode, Alex must take a field trip to the museum for her art history class, or else she fails and has to repeat the class during summer school. Now, this episode was fun. I always laugh at the joke that the garbage lady makes about the garbage truck being a jewelry store. Also, the Leonardo DiCaprio joke was pretty funny too. I liked when the famous paintings like the Mona Lisa and the Scream came to life. This episode also introduced us to the Go Through Mo Through spell, which is literally my favorite spell from the show ever. But overall, this episode was a good season finale, even though it was just a random episode.
Forget about me, Alex. Save yourself.
Seriously, Justin, just stand up.
Okay.
In this episode, Alex is jealous of Justin always getting to do cool things with his older friends. Now, towards the end of this episode, Alex and Justin wind up in a horror movie, and I thought it was funny how this whole episode was constantly poking fun at all the horror movie tropes, like the victim falling down when the killer is chasing after them, and how people in horror movies are not smart at all and they run towards the killer instead of away from the killer. But overall, this episode was awesome, and the killer coming back in the ending credits was funny.
Chocolate slide.
In this episode, Alex is having trouble with her Spanish. Now, as someone who was born to immigrant parents, I can totally relate to Alex's struggle learning her parents' language. I thought the pocket elves were cool, and also this episode ends in the big chocolate scene at the restaurant, which is iconic.
Is it working? Is it working? It's not working.
Tango!
What are you doing? That's my house!
In this episode, Alex tells the genie that she wants people to stop comparing her to Justin. But the genie does that by making everyone forget about Justin. Like literally forget he ever existed. Now, I thought the genie was a fun character, even though she kind of screwed Alex over. And also, I thought it was funny when Justin, started to disappear.
I shall take your powers and be on my way.
Professor Crumb's turned into a guinea pig. Sweet!
In this episode, Alex gets a bad grade on her wizard report card, but tries her best to hide it from her parents. Now this episode reminded me a lot of an episode of That's So Raven, because the situation kept getting worse and worse, and it all could have been prevented had Alex just done nothing. Instead, she turned her parents into guinea pigs, then Professor Crumbs, R.I.P., because the actor who plays him passed away. Anyways, Professor Crumbs had to come and take Alex's powers away, which was bad for her, but entertaining for us. Also, when Professor Crumbs takes Alex's powers away, it looks like this magical multicolored orb, but then when Alex gets the full wizard powers in the movie, it's like a ball that's like the same color as the sun. So magic is inconsistent in the show. I don't know why. Maybe it's because they have so many writers.
Okay, that was really weird.
Kiss back.
Really?
In this episode, Alex works for a fashion company. First of all, I was getting some major True Jackson VP vibes, and I love that show, which could be why I love this episode so much. I like the shots thrown at fashion companies, about how like they print articles that make girls feel inferior and stuff like that. And I like how the opening scene where Teresa takes credit for Alex's sandwich idea foreshadows when the fashion designer takes credit for Alex's designs.
You know, those glasses and that robe on, you remind me of someone. Is it Terry something, Barry something, Larry something? Oh, never mind.
In this 2-part / 1 hour special, Alex and Justin are sent to a special wizard school. I like how Octavia Spencer guest starred in this episode. Even though she was playing a villain, which isn't really cool, I still love her and I love the fact that she was involved in the show. And I never watched or read Harry Potter, but I'm pretty sure this episode was inspired by it. Actually, I'm pretty sure this entire show was inspired by Harry Potter. Also, I know Alex always makes fun of Justin for being smart, and he's kind of bullied by everyone in general, like at home and in his regular school. But at this wizard school, Justin is actually thriving and is appreciated, which is nice to see because he's a good kid.
It's okay because I'm not going to be the one wearing it. You are. Alex Teresa can be a
Wait a
Kabora,
minute.
Mia
Are you doing
Numinavi. Why am I looking at myself?
Now in this episode, Teresa throws Alex a quinceañera, which she doesn't want. Now one of my favorite things about Wizards of Waverly Place has always been its celebration of Latino culture. Also, I loved how Alex did the body switching spell so Teresa could have the quinceañera that her parents could never afford when she was 15. Grandma Maggie was hilarious. I loved the father-daughter dance. And I liked the side plot with the boys trying to learn how to dance, but they couldn't get it. Overall, this episode was amazing and is what I think is the best episode of season 1. Alright, that's it for my video. I am finally done ranking all of the episodes in every season of Wizards of Waverly Place. Now I gotta move on to another show, okay? Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below what your ranking is for this season. I wanna know. Anyways, thank you so much for watching.